Hello, fellow adventurers. Gather around as we embark on a tale that rides the winds of audacity and whispers the daring exploits of a man determined to cast off the iron chains of confinement. Our protagonist, Dale Otto Remling, a man with a taste for freedom so insatiable that he defied the conventional notions of incarceration. And fasten your seatbelts, dear adventurers, for we're about to lift off on Dale Otto Remling's helicopter escape from Jackson Prison. My writing professors in college would have been like, stop it with the verbosity and put the thesaurus down and just tell the story. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
And let's go on a ride about the helicopter prison break of Dale Otto Remling. On June 6th, 1975, a lone helicopter appeared in the exercise yard of Jackson Prison, and a lone inmate jogged over and got in, and the helicopter lifted off. And this was surprising to the prison guards. They didn't do anything. They just kind of watched everything unfold. And just a few minutes before this unfolded, Richard Koloski paid pilot Richard Jackson to fly him from Plymouth, Michigan to Lansing. But 5 minutes into the flight, he pulled a knife and told him to fly toward Jackson. So they flew to the prison, where they landed in the prison yard, and they picked up Remling. The helicopter lifted off and kind of headed north. It turns out Remling had hired a bunch of people to help him escape, including his girlfriend, a few friends, and 2 other women to drive decoy escape cars.
He was born on Independence Day, 1928 in Oklahoma.
And in 1955, he stole the identity of a U.S. Forest Service worker, I think, Jimmy Mangdon, in California. He was convicted for that identity theft, and he was sent to Soledad Prison, where he escaped and was caught 3 days later. Then in 1971, he stole an airplane, and he was convicted of that, and he was sent to Soledad Prison, where he escaped again, but he was never caught. So he moved to Montcalm County to Sidney, Michigan, a few miles away where Valhalla is. So while he was in Montcalm County, he actually had a heist where they went out of state and they stole like 400 hogs. But they couldn't sell them because they were stolen hogs. They didn't have the medical paperwork, so they gave up on that. He came back to the Montcalm County area, where he started writing bad checks again, and he married the daughter of the richest man in Sidney, Michigan. He lived a life there under Jimmy Mangdon, but because he started writing bad checks again, he was caught for that in 1971 and sent to Jackson Prison, where he spent 2 years planning his escape. So after they picked up Remling and lifted off from the prison yard in Jackson, they flew 6 miles north, here to the corner of Bunker Hill and North Meridian. Well, we'll get out of here. All right, thanks. So we just got an eyewitness account. The farmer that actually owns the property that this is on, he was kind of wondering what we were doing, so I told him we were just doing a video for YouTube. But he said they landed in this field across the way, across the road from this old schoolhouse. And waiting here were supposed to be 3 getaway cars driven by 2 females, and Remling's girlfriend was supposed to be the 3rd. But I guess she had car trouble and didn't show up. So when they landed, Remling maced the pilot so that he couldn't see or chase them. The 2 decoys took off, and actually the helicopter chased after one and radioed their location, and soon they were caught. But Remling missed his ride because his girlfriend hadn't shown up. So he took off on foot to the north. And by the next morning, Dale Remling had secured a ride to here in Leslie, Michigan. Here he got some groceries, a razor, and cleaned himself up. And he came here to what was Huffy's Bar, now the Crossroads Bar.
Dale Remling was unassuming and polite. Now, who would have expected that He had been the escaped convict, as he said here in the bar. Accounts vary, though, as to who contacted the police. But when State Trooper William Flowers burst in, Remling surrendered with a smile. Dale Remling was known as being a charismatic and friendly guy. So as they waited for backup, he and the trooper had a great conversation about horses. He was incarcerated for 20 years for air piracy. His charismatic and charming personality continued. He was the editor for the newsletter of the prison. He was the pitcher for their softball team, and he even joined the country band called the Teardrops. When he corresponded with his lawyer, James Adams, he often talked about prison reform. He was released a little early on September 13th, 1993. His last days he spent in Bakersfield, California, and 2 days short of his 71st birthday on July 2nd, 1999, he took his last breath.
And he escaped the chains of this world. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
Thanks for retracing the steps of this legendary adventure with us. We'll see you soon.